Hello, welcome to my channel and thank you for tuning into this video. Today I'm going to be creating this makeup look, which is just a really quick and easy, light and sort of casual glam look that you could wear over the holidays. So if you'd like to see how I put this look together, just keep on watching. So I'm going to start with cream blush. I'm using this Fenty cream blush in the shade Cool Berry. And I like this color because it does have a cool undertone. So it gives a nice sort of impression like you've been out in the cold, and the cream finish is really nice because it just blends in so seamlessly with the skin. I will be covering this, or topping it, I should say, with a little bit of a powder blush later on, but the powder blush I'm going to use is, I find quite sheer, and so I like it actually for setting down creams like this because it doesn't add too much color. It does add a little bit of color and shine. You'll see what I mean, but it's nice to just kind of set in a cream blush and just make sure that it sticks around for a little bit longer than a cream that isn't set might. At least on my skin, I find that cream blushes can wear off fairly quickly. Next, I want to go into some bronzer. So I'm going to use this one from the Charlotte Tilbury, I think it's called Lightgasm palette. Not thrilled with the name of it, but I do like the palette. So again, this I've used this bronzer in a video quite recently, and I mentioned there that I really like it because it's quite sheer, and so it adds a little bit of depth and sort of contouring and a little bit of warmth without looking like too much. So I think for this makeup look especially, it's very well suited. I think that's all right for bronzer. I'm just gonna put a tiny bit more of this cream blush on because I always like my blush color to be more prominent than my bronze. It just looks more natural on my skin, which doesn't get any natural bronze to it whatsoever in real life without makeup. Okay. So I think well actually, yeah, I'll leave the face there for now. I'll put highlighter on later and I'll finish up the blush later. I want to go to the eyes right now. So I want to keep the eyes super, super simple. So I'm going to use this Natasha Denona Glam palette. I actually just got this palette. I got it in Sephora, had this spend $75, get 25 off or something. So I used that promo on this palette, which I'm really happy with. I've used it a few times now and I'm really enjoying it. I like the colors in it, and I always love Natasha Denona shadows in terms of the way they blend and how they wear on the eye. So I'm just going to take a little bit of this color called Transition right here, just to kind of set down. I have a little bit of concealer on my lids, just sort of left over from the concealer I put on my eyes. I just blended it up over the lids, which is what I usually do. I'm not super into doing like a full-on eye primer if I don't have to. And I would just generally prefer to use shadows where I don't have to do that. And especially for this look, which I want to be really quick and easy. I don't want to have to be dealing with an eye primer. I really like that color actually. It's showing up to me a little bit deeper than it looks in the pan, but it's kind of perfect for that just barely there kind of very, very light shadow on my skin tone. I'm going into crease just a little bit. I tapped off my brush and I'm just sort of bringing that everywhere that I had the that transition shade, but just not pulling it up quite as high. Just building a little bit of depth, and I am bringing it into the inner part of the eye as well, not just focusing it on the outer part. So just kind of like in an arch to define that socket line. Okay, great. I'm going to pull that along the lower lash line too. I'm just trying to figure out what the best brush for that is going to be. Let me try with this one. This is the Refer 22. It has a very sort of thin tip to it. But sometimes I find that when I use brushes with a bit of a thicker tip than on the lower lash line, it just gets a bit, it pulls it down a little bit too far. And I just want to try to avoid that. Okay, so that was, again, that was transition, and then I'm going back into that crease color and focusing it a little bit more closely along the lash line than I did with the transition shade. I'm not thrilled with the names of the shades in this palette for a couple of reasons. You know, the obvious one that, you know, many people were criticizing is that the names aren't really universal in terms of what they imply. So like what is a transition shade or a crease shade or whatever blend shade for one person and one skin tone isn't necessarily going to translate for another person. And I know she did address that in her Instagram stories. She offered some alternative placements, but it's just not ideal to me. And then the other reason that I don't really like these names is I kind of like when makeup has sort of interesting and creative names. So I actually miss that. That's part of the appeal of makeup for me, is the sort of fun and interesting, unique names. So I do miss that as well. But I suppose in the end, the most important thing is how the product actually performs. And I can't complain about that aspect of this palette. I think it's really beautiful and it works very well. Okay. Now you could just leave it like this, and that's a nice sort of basic, pretty look on the eyes, but I want some sparkle. I think I'm gonna go into this color that's called Center Eyelid, so it's a kind of pinky color. And I'm gonna also use this one here, which is called Inner Corner. So I'm gonna use those two. I'm taking this Sonia G flat, what is that? Soft shader. Yeah, soft shader. And going right into the center eyelid color here. And I'm gonna put this all over the lid, blending it up a little bit into those mattes. Love the way these colors look together. Sort of very soft and elegant combination, in my opinion. Okay, and then I'm going to take this little flat definer, which was in the Sonia G Kiyaki set, and just wiping it off to make sure it's all clean, doesn't have any dark shadow on it, and going into that inner corner color. I'm gonna pop that right in the center of the lid. And I really don't want to pull it out too far because I don't want to cover up much of that pink. But I just want this to add a little bit of extra light into the center of the eye. Yeah, I think that works. So I just kind of plopped it on and then just like pulled it down in a straight line. That's giving me a nice concentration of that shade. And I'm gonna wipe off that brush a little bit and go back into that pinky center eyelid and just blend out the edges of where I put that inner corner color. Okay, I do want to just blend out the top again, so I'm just going to do a little combo of those two mattes that I already used, Transition and Crease. Tap it off and just pull it all the way along there, just to blend out the edges. I'm going to go back with the flat definer and take this color that's called Inner Corner. It's kind of a peachy color. Peachy beige, I would say, and I want this along sort of the center of the lower lash line and just blending out. I've just come to really enjoy a little bit of shimmer on the lower lash line as well. I think it looks nice. Adds a bit more dimension to the whole eye. Crease, this one here, and smoke. Again, tapping and just pulling that along the outer edge a little bit. Okay, still with the flat definer going into the lash line, and I will actually use it on my lash line. Just really lightly blending that in for just the almost just the impression of a liner. All right, I'm going to put mascara on and then I'll be back to finish everything up. All right, I have my mascara on and I actually ended up putting a little bit of that sort of peachy metallic that I had put here. I put a little bit of that on the inner corner as well. To finish up the face, I'm actually gonna keep using this palette and using this pinky blush just to sort of top off the cream. I think it plays really nicely with that Cool Berry shade. And you know what, since I have a bit of the sort of peach on the eyes in parts, I'm going to use this color too, and just sort of more toward the top of where I have my blush already. Just a little bit, right on the top of the cheekbone here. Okay, and I might as well throw that onto my little bit on the brow bone too. And now with the mini cheek into the highlight color. And last but not least, we're gonna finish up with the lip. So I'm going to use this Fenty Cream Gloss Bomb in the shade Fruit Snacks. I thought a red gloss would be really nice for this kind of casual holiday look. It's a bit more low maintenance than having to apply a full-on red lipstick, and it's really comfortable and really easy to just, you know, reapply as needed. Plus with the gloss texture, you get a bit of that sort of sheer quality to it, which I think just goes really nicely with the idea of this look. All right, that does it. This is the completed casual holiday glam look. I think this is a nice way to do your makeup if you're wanting to just feel a little bit more pulled together or special over the holidays without going too far with it. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope it was fun to watch me create this look. If you have any questions or comments, I would love to see those down below. If you'd like to see more from me, I would love for you to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching this video. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.